Well, I've achieved my dream life. It's insane. Yet there's still this burning passion of emptiness inside. But first, I just need to reflect on the position that I'm in right now because I'm driving this dream car that I'm putting up on the screen now that is absolutely amazing. I mean, I'm starting to love it. It is insane. I'm living in a little starter apartment, which is nice. I'm surrounded by hyper successful people. Tomorrow, I'm actually flying on a private jet for the first time. Kenny has a jet, and we are going to the mastermind group that he and George, that I work for, that they have in Dallas, to where we will be surrounded by people who are paying, I think, 50 grand a year to be a part of it. 50 grand a year. So those people are all hyper successful. A lot of them are flying in on their private jet. And the amount that I learn at every single one of these is out of this world. The experience that I have. There's a guy that I'm going to name drop. I don't know if I should. His name's Brent Johnson. He's really big in the hedge fund industry and kind of the macroeconomic space. And I'm in a group chat with him and Ken McElroy, which that alone is a dream come true. But we were talking the other day and he said, Josh, you're 21 years old with the life experience of an 80-year-old. And he was joking around, but it's true. I have lived so much in such a short amount of time that I haven't had any time to reflect on it and really soak it all in. Because it is astounding, the position that I'm in, to be able to be exposed to these types of super successful people so young. And yet I just have this burning fire in my stomach to say, dude, you're not doing shit with your life. Get going. And I think the biggest reason for that is because this is where I'm at. And all the people that I'm hanging out with are it's not even a level that I can see. It is so far up ahead. It's on a mountain that I haven't even looked at climbing yet. Because once you get to the peak of this one, they're like 20 peaks away. And so when you're surrounded by that, I think it really, it's teaching me, think 100 times bigger. Don't settle for things that will make you 10, 20 grand a month. That's a ton of money, but think way bigger, because the way that these guys got super rich was thinking and using as much leverage as humanly possible. That is the way that they were really able to leverage their time, their resources, their expertise to the highest possible degree. And so because of that, I'm turning down tons and tons of opportunity that I otherwise would have said yes to. And then I probably would be plateaued in a very small position. But because I'm in the most fortunate situation in the world, and I understand I got so lucky. There was a ton of things that I was really pushing myself over the edge to get here. But at the end of the day, just being born in America in the early 2000s is the luckiest you could possibly be. Anywhere in America, you are exposed to the digital realm where any time in history, this wouldn't have been possible to reach out to these people online, to do all these things, to even have my job, because this wasn't even possible. It wasn't even a thing in history. So think about that from a genetic lottery standpoint. That I was the perfect age to grow up with the technology, to kind of have a decent understanding and then also not having the pressure as it maybe I would have 10, 20 years ago to go to college. There was still a lot of pressure because that's what everyone was doing, but it was starting to become slightly more cool not to go to college. There was people like Gary Vee that were talking about it, people like Doug Casey, and that even opened up an avenue that I wouldn't even have thought of. So just that alone is superbly lucky. And there's so many people in that situation. Something that I have a really hard time at is looking at the rearview mirror and seeing we've already traveled a pretty long distance. For me, it's all I want to do is keep on driving at full throttle forever. Or at least that's the way I'm thinking right now. There are times, of course, when you burn out and you're like, fuck, I just want to lay down on this couch and do nothing. But when you're surrounded by the energy of these mega business owners, how the hell could your energy levels really be that low? It just fires you up. And that's what really motivates me. It is the ambition of these other people. And I'm a super competitive bastard. And I don't necessarily want to compete against somebody. I want to compete with them. It's like a friendly rivalry. When two people are really trying to do their best, the result at the end is both of them being a whole lot better. And except right now, it's like I am a chess player with an ELO score of 500, which is a very low ELO score. That's just the chess ranking. And everyone that I'm surrounding with, it has an ELO score of 2,800, which is like an incredibly high ELO score. So what does that mean? I'm surrounded by these people. They're like, hey, stop doing that move. It doesn't really make sense. If you just do this and this and this, you'll actually get a lot better and you'll beat a lot of other opponents. And I mean that in the sense where I will progress a lot faster. It is the absolute best situation of all time. So then I think the natural question would be, okay, Josh, how the hell can I find these people to hang out with that are super, super successful? And one of them is you have to be able to provide some sort of value to them. The reason why I get to work with Ken is because I developed a super, super good skill set that he really wanted. And I don't even mean this in an arrogant or cocky way, but the first week I've been there, it has been honestly the best results they've seen in the past year, at least for on a very, if you're looking at it on a short-term time horizon, because I've built honestly a really good skill set to where I can go in and poke holes where they are needed. But originally, when I had no skills, when I was 18 years old and desperate, and I was reaching out to all these people asking them to work for them for free, which I would never do again. And the reason for that is successful people don't need free labor. It's an unfortunate, your free labor it's expensive to them almost, because what the hell are they going to do with you? They would rather have the time because you're really a burden. I was a burden to all these people I was reaching out to. So just saying, hey, I'll work for you for free. I used to think, oh, I'm doing something, but I really wasn't. I got no results from it. So what did work? I just studied macroeconomics all day, every single day. I reached out to all these people, and then I realized I wasn't getting anywhere. So this guy, George Gammon, he was having a birthday party. And so what I did is I got his logo tattooed on my leg, which is also based off the book Atlas Shrugged, which is my favorite book. So it was a multi-purpose tattoo, you could say. And I flew down to Arizona, taking my first ever flight. I'd never been on a plane before in my life up until that time. And when I was 18, and now 3 years later, I'm 21 and I'm flying on a private jet tomorrow. I mean, that is superb to even think about. It's insane. It's insane. But anyway, so I flew out there, I met him, and I showed him that tattoo. I got his personal email, and I wasn't reaching out every single day after that. I went to his live event after that, and then I met more people, and then eventually I got dinner with him. And then after dinner, a few weeks after that, he asked if I wanted a job, but he didn't ask if I wanted a job because I was offering free labor. To him, that would have been a burden. He asked if I wanted to have, he asked if I wanted a job because I provided value. And the value was I understood from a very intellectual level what he was talking about on these very esoteric macroeconomic discussions. I mean, we had a very, very deep discussion. And so he said, hey, dude, I'll hire you as my research analyst. And I said, done. He said, well, how much? He was like, we haven't talked about pay. I said, don't worry about it. And he said, all right, fine, I'll pay you X. And I said, sweet. And then a few weeks later, I was doing that remotely. He called me and he said, hey, Josh, I'm thinking we're going to take this a lot more seriously. And why don't you actually move to Arizona and we'll really do this full time? And I said, done. I said, I'll pack my bags and I'll be there tomorrow. And I swear to God, this is what happened. He said, Josh, don't you have to ask don't you have to ask your mom or anything? You're 18 years old. Don't you have to, don't you want to know what you're going to get paid? I was like, you're going to pay me? And I was just like, done, let's go. And any opportunity I got with Zone Successful, I didn't ask any questions. I just said, I want to learn everything I can. I will be there. Whether it is traveling to Uganda to meet Doug Casey. I didn't actually do that, but I 100% would have. Just any opportunity I got, I was just like, I'm going. Oh, there's something over here that I'm going to be able to meet someone that, or potentially meet them and shake their hand and maybe get to make something out of it. I'm there. And I was doing that any opportunity I got. I did get incredibly lucky with it, but there was a lot of times. Just think about the optics. Hey, Mom, next week I'm going to Arizona and I'm meeting this guy for his 50th birthday party that he posted on YouTube. And guess what? I also just got his logo tattooed on my leg because I'd like to work for someone like that. Come on. How the hell does that sound? Fucking crazy as shit. It sounds crazy as shit. It is crazy as shit. It is. And I'm not recommending people get someone's logo tattooed, but it is crazy. And I was desperate. I was so desperate because I remember, and I'll try and pull up the video. I wasn't going to school at all my senior year. I still applied for college, which I honestly regret doing. I wish I didn't apply because that just means that I didn't have complete faith in myself. I was giving myself a plan B and a backup, which I said I wouldn't do. I would just go 100% on this, and I would make it work or I would die trying. And I did a local state school. But then when it got in the mail, the first day, I burnt it and I lit it on fire and I said, fuck you, college. I recorded it, so maybe I'll try and pull up the video. And so now it's just every single person just being a sponge and soaking up every single thing that you could possibly learn from. I have met a few young people, and they are so much more interested in showing other people what they know instead of learning from those people around them. And that's just taking the ego out of it. I've definitely been victim of this before. You think you have some sort of great idea, you like to express it. You're not smart. I'm not smart. I'd rather listen to everyone else because there was a very, very wise lady, one of the smartest people I've ever met in my entire life, his wife, who was also one of the smartest people I've ever met. They used to run like a NASDAQ company, just absolute rock stars. And his wife said, you can learn someone from everything, whether it's the homeless man, the waiter where you're getting your food, the person at the other side of the counter. She said, you can learn something from absolutely everyone, but most people just never take the time to try. And that's so true. It definitely is. So now, how do you actually find the mentor? It's learning something, or having some sort of skill set that other people need. And the reason why I think, and I feel wholeheartedly that I could work with anyone that I want to in my space, is because I could see what issue they have in their business and I would fix it for them. And you do that for free. And maybe that takes a lot of time and effort. But guess what? If, let's say I had some sort of product and I had a good email sequence and a good funneling tactic, or I thought I did, and then someone sends me, hey, here is what I think a better email sequence would look like. Here's yours. Here's what I changed. Here's the psychology as to why I changed it. If you implement this, or if you A/B test it, I can almost guarantee you that the conversion rates to your product are going to increase. And then what I did is I wrote an additional product sign up page to where once someone signs up for the bottom layer, they're in another email sequence where now they're wanting to hopefully at the end of that get put onto a higher tier product. And let's say you sent that to somebody and they did it, guess what? They're going to fucking at least have a phone call with you. I can guarantee it. Or if you say, hey, you're doing X, Y, and Z wrong in this video. Here's what I think if you changed, you're going to get at least something. It's not just, hey, dude, I'll work for you for free. What the hell are they going to have you do? No one's like, oh my God, I really need this particular thing solved. And my whole business would be fixed. I just need some sort of free labor to do it. No, because they would just hire someone. If I have a problem that's low skill labor, I just hire off for it. And that's what everyone does. So don't stop trying to work for free. It doesn't work. And maybe if you get lucky, but it didn't work for me. And I've reached out to 100 people at least. Learn skills and do those skills for people. It's going to take more time and more effort, but it will move the needle in a lot more ways than one. And so I can't even comprehend where I'll be in another 3 years. People say, what's your 1, 3, 5, 10-year goal? And if you told me 3 years ago that I would be driving this car and that I would be flying in a private jet tomorrow, I would have spat in your food. There's no way I would have thought that. But when I got to Arizona, actually, this is kind of a funny story. When I moved here full time, the first day at the job, George, he would take us out for lunch every day. It was me and this lady, Angelique, who was working in the office. And we were working at actually downtown, Old Town Scottsdale, right in Robert Kiyosaki's office. And he said, and we got into his car and it was a Mercedes. And it was a nice Mercedes. I said, dude, this is the nicest car I've ever been in. And he was laughing. He was like, you know, I have a McLaren. And then I went in that, and then I was like, well, now this is definitely the nicest car I've ever been in. But now I'm driving a car that I think is just as nice, if not even nicer. It's insane how you get to this position so quickly. So it's incredible. It is incredible where you can end up and how much your life can change and improve in such a short amount of time. It really is. All right, guys. Thank you. And we'll see you in the next one.